Peace and Yah bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's the tree of life. He's the fountain of living waters. He's the spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, I'm going to talk more about Bible prophecy. Bible prophecy. The prophets of old, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. Those are the pretty much the main ones. Then you have some, stuff in the minor prophets that basically reiterates the same things that, some of the major prophets talk about in the Bible. One of the basic prophecies that's been coming about, at least for the last, I would say 7 or 8 years, is the burden of Damascus, Syria. Okay? Now, all of these prophecies that are culminating, they're all tied in together. Okay? Everything's tied in together, from Damascus to Lebanon to, World War III to the Zionists finally getting their judgment. You know what I mean? Those in the state of Israel today. Okay? And remember, all this stuff's going to happen. Okay? Because it's already seen before our time that it was going to happen. Because what the actual prophets were trying to explain to you all is what they were seeing in these visions. Now, these visions are given from God to the prophets. And then what he does, he allows, most of us to be able to go to the Bible and read this, see it for ourselves, to see the future, okay? And you notice I'm never going over to the NT, okay? Because the way they write it all up, they write it like Superman movie. Somebody's going to come back and stop these things. Well, as you guys can see, nobody's ever came back to stop any of these things. Okay, nobody came back to stop the coronavirus from happening, or basically the whole entire world from shutting down. I mean, absolute madness. You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy. All right? You have to look to Yah, the Holy One of Israel. Okay? Because in a minute, y'all gonna have respect to your Maker. Because many of y'all don't respect God, because y'all don't think these things are going to occur. You're so focused on who the next president's going to be, or whether President Trump is going to continue in his tenure, in his term, for another 4 years. Let not those things be your focus. Let this book of remembrance be your focus. Okay, all right. That's what it's called. Malachi 3, chapter 3, verse 16. Okay, a book of remembrance was written up for us to go to this book and remember, especially Black Americans, who we are, and the Palestinians, right? To remember who we are in this day and age. That's why it's called a book of remembrance. Go look it up for yourself, Malachi 3:16. All right? All right. Now, you all have seen what's going on over in the state of Israel, and, basically between the Trump administration and the United Arab Emirates, right? You all see what's happening with that. And for me, it's just basically more hoopla, but, you got to let it be what it is. So there's no way they're ever going to make peace between all those Muslim nations. Because first, the Muslim nations themselves have to make peace between themselves, because you have two factions of different Muslim nations. You know what I mean? Shia and Shiite. Okay? All right? You got those two factions who are not in harmony. So how can all of them be in harmony with the Zionists? That's impossible. They're not in harmony with each other. Okay? They got to be in harmony with each other first before they can even think about, making any peace with the Zionists. Okay? But, let it be what it is. Okay? Damascus, Syria. Damascus and even the state of Syria, it looks like, man, it looks horrible over there. I don't know if you guys have seen photos of it. But like kind of what you guys see in Lebanon and Beirut looks way worse than that. In some of those cities, they've just bombed it to death. And as you can see, their leader, Bashar Assad, you know what I mean? He doesn't even care. Just lets his state get bombed by everybody. Anybody who comes in there, especially the Zionist regime. They come in there and bomb all the time. But eventually, the capital of Damascus. Now, Damascus, they say, is the most populous city in the world. The most populous city in the world. And I think one of the oldest cities in the world, okay? Because you can read that throughout this book of remembrance. Talks about, interchangeably it'll say Damascus or it'll say Syria or Assyria, which is the same region, right? Okay. All right. Now, Damascus, Syria, definitely one of the prophecies that has to come about, that it will be what? It's going to be a ruinous heap. Okay. See right here. Another prophecy against Damascus. Okay. It says, see, Damascus will no longer be a city, but will become a ruinous heap. Okay, so eventually they're going to come in there for Bashar Assad. You know what I mean? At some point, he's trying this tactic of, not doing anything while his whole entire country gets bombed, and also while all the people, they're carted off to other places as refugees, right? Okay, but apparently he's never read the Book of Remembrance. I'm sure he's reading the Quran, so he doesn't see this right here. That's coming one day. No different than what happened in Lebanon, in Beirut, with that port getting bombed, you know what I mean? Regardless to how it happened, it doesn't matter how it happened or who was behind it. All that matters is what? Is that you see now Isaiah 33 coming about, okay? Even though war is going to break out, okay, at some point between Hezbollah and the Zionists. And the Zionists are going to come in there and bomb some more, okay? Then Isaiah 33 will be fulfilled. Okay, and especially once Yhwh raises himself up, even though it looks terrible over there right now and they're in economic collapse, right? Okay, so let's go to the book and look at the prophecy, all right? Damascus, right? The burden of Damascus is taken away from being a city. It shall be a ruinous heap. All right, let's go look. Let's check it out. All right? All right. Jeremiah chapter 49. Now, this is cited twice in the Book of Remembrance, okay? But I'm going to start in Jeremiah chapter 49. It says, concerning Damascus, Hamath, which is a city in Damascus, is confused, right? And Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. All right? It cannot be quiet. Concerning Damascus, all right? For they have heard evil tidings. So they know at some point that this right here is going to be a ruinous heap. Okay? All right, let's read on. Verse 24. Okay? Damascus is waxed feeble and turns herself to flee, and fear hath seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her. As a woman in travail, okay, like a woman, who's pregnant, right? Okay, verse 25. How is the city of praise not left? The city of my joy. Now, this is what Jeremiah is explaining, okay, because that was a popular city during their times, very popular, right? Okay. Therefore, young men shall fall in the streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Yhwh of hosts. Verse 27, and I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad. Wow. What a prophecy. What a vision. You see, it says right there, no hope for Damascus. No hope for Damascus. So as great as it looks right here and as populous as it is, one day, it's not going to be. It's going to be taken from being a city, Damascus, Syria. So it doesn't matter how much Bashar al-Assad tries to avoid war, by letting these armies come in there and bomb indiscriminately inside of his territory. It doesn't matter about him calling on the Russians or any other faction. When it's time for this to go down, it's going to happen because this prophecy will be completed. Okay? No different than Lebanon. That port in Beirut, that's not it. You know what I mean? There's more going to occur. I'm saying it's a part of it, right? However it happened. But there's more that's going to occur along with that. Okay? When at some point Hezbollah decides to go against the Zionist regime. And they're going to. Okay? They're going to. These Muslim nations are a little too quiet right now. They're letting, it's kind of like the king of the north versus the king of the south that you see in the book of Daniel, where it tells you that, that Islam will come to its end and nobody's going to help it, right? All right. In Daniel chapter 11, verse 45, okay? It tells you that when you read that, okay? So it's kind of like that, because, everybody's, most of these Islamic nations, they're not saying anything about what happened in Beirut. Okay? They're not saying a word, but like I said, it'll be worse than that at some point. Okay? And you'll see Isaiah 33, come to life, right? And you'll see why it was predicted by the prophet Isaiah that it would happen. All right? Now, let's go to Isaiah chapter 17, okay? Open up your book. I hope you're following along with your book. If you're going to watch these videos, you should follow along with your book open so you can put your own eyes on it, okay? The burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city. Okay, Damascus, Syria is going to be taken away from being a city. See that right there? It's going to be taken away from being a city. It shall be a ruinous heap. Okay? As you can see, it's predicted by two of the major prophets, Jeremiah and Isaiah both predicted that this prophecy will come about one day. That it's going to be a ruinous heap. Okay? So it doesn't matter about them being in league with the Russians, trying to get Russia to protect them, from these, I'm going to say what they call Western powers. Okay? Nothing's going to be able to protect them when it's time for this prophecy to come about. The Western powers at some point are going to bomb Damascus. And that's going to be the end of the Bashar al-Assad regime. Okay? And then they'll probably partition that state, or they'll probably set it up however they wish to set it up. But it's going to happen. Now here's the key. He's being warned by listening to my voice and many other voices, okay, that it's going to happen. He's being warned by Jeremiah and by Isaiah that it's going to happen if he would come to this book of remembrance and open it up and read it. Now, if he wants to look at the Quran, well, then he ain't never going to find this out, okay? But he'll open his book of remembrance, he'll find it out, okay? So a great many prophecies left still to go in this book of remembrance, okay? A great many things, okay? So let's have a look at what's going to occur, okay, in the future. And we know Lebanon is in progress, okay? Isaiah chapter 33. Matter of fact, I'm there right now, okay? Isaiah chapter 33. Go to Isaiah chapter 33. It tells you about what's going to happen, okay? Yhwh, our King, is exalted, right? For he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, okay? He's filled Zion, the government arm. He filled us with judgment and righteousness. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, okay? So our wisdom and our knowledge, that's our stability. That's what keeps us stable, man. Because a lot of people losing their mind right now over all these things going on, the COVID-19 and everything else that surrounds, economic collapse, possibly of the whole world, right? And the whole world was on the teeter-totter of economic collapse had they not, opened the economies up, like they did in May. Because had they waited till June or July, it would have crashed. The United States would have crashed. And when it crashed, it would have crashed everything else. So that would have been that. But anyway, so wisdom and knowledge are going to be the stability of our times, right? And strength of salvation and fear of Yah is his treasure. That's our treasure, to fear God, to fear Yah. Verse number 7, behold, their valiant ones shall cry outside, right? It says, the ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. That's what you got going on now. They're going and getting the United Arab Emirates and calling, I think, Qatar and different Muslim nations, so to say, or Islamic nations to try to make some kind of peace with the Zionists, But the Most High said, man, those ambassadors of peace, they're gonna weep bitterly, man, whenever this war jumps off, because the Lebanese government is not going to be able to stop Hezbollah from attacking the Zionist regime over what happened with that Beirut port. Now, naturally, the Zionist regime threw the first blow by having some sort of dealing. Put it this way, they had working knowledge that it was going to happen. Let's say it like that. Okay, they knew it was going to happen. Okay, what they thought was going to happen is that Hezbollah was going to immediately respond. But Hezbollah didn't. Hezbollah exercising patience right now. They're like, no, we're not going to immediately respond because the Edomites were already ready for them. Okay? They kind of was doing some, what they call Sun Tzu techniques. And they're like, no, don't attack yet. But don't think Hezbollah don't got it in their mind to do so. I'm sure Nasrallah is very aware of what's happening with this situation. He probably does come here and read some of these things to see exactly what's being said here. But the highways are going to lie waste. The wayfaring man ceaseth. He have broken the covenant. He have despised the cities. He regarded no man. Okay, that's going to be the Zionists. They don't care. They're going to come in there and bomb. Okay, all right. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed and hewn down. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. And the Most High says, now will I rise, saith Yah. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift myself up. Most High says, man, when this is going on, it's him rising. It's him lifting himself up when this goes on right here. Because, they had YLR saying this prophecy had something to do with them. And it had nothing to do with the Yah righteousness movement or being started back in 2008. I think we've discussed this several times. This prophecy has nothing to do with that. This is a total separate event, as you can see by what happened. So let's look at the results. Did something happen in Lebanon? Because if this was talking about YLR, then nothing would have happened in Lebanon. Because he said that was the prophecy, them being raised up as a movement. So obviously not true, right? Or that port wouldn't be sitting blown up today like it is. In Lebanon, an economic collapse like it is. Okay, this is a war that's going to break loose. Okay, so what you guys are seeing is only prelims. That's only prelims with that port. It's going to get worse than that because Hezbollah at some point is going to attack the Zionist regime, which I'm talking about. That's what's up next. A prophecy that's going to happen. The Zionist regime. Okay, Jeremiah 49, Isaiah 63, and really the whole chapter. There's only one book in Obadiah that talks about the Zionist regime, also known as the Edomites. Okay. All right. That prophecy has to come about. Nothing can stop it. No peace deals, no nothing, man. Okay. It's written in this book for its purpose, for us to see it ahead of time and know that it's going to take place. All right. That's what the prophets are here for, to tell us what's going to happen, what is going to take place. And then Yah uses us as his voice, right? And as the voice of the prophets of old, we're not prophets, but we come and tell you what the prophets have said or what they have prophesied. Okay? Naturally, Damascus. Okay? Which I just showed you, Isaiah 17 and Jeremiah 49. Okay? All three of these things will culminate at World War III. And World War III has already began. Basically you look at, let's go. Isaiah 13 and Jeremiah 50 and 51. That's where you can find WW3. Between the Persians, which calls themselves the Medes, right? The Medes and the Persians are the same faction that you read about in Isaiah chapter 13 and Jeremiah 50 and 51. The Medes that's the same people, okay? Talking about the Persians or Iran. So that's why you notice, that's why they're over there in Iran. That's why they got all these economic sanctions and trade embargoes and things that they've done against Iran. Keep trying to get them to the negotiation tables, even though the United States is the one who went in and broke, the nuclear deal they have with Iran. The United States or the Trump administration, they went in there and got up out of that. Okay, all right. So understand that. Number one, they're the ones who let that go. All right, but remember, it's also WW3. Sometime in the future, in the late future, will happen. It will occur. It will happen, and it will occur. All right. Isaiah chapter 13, the burden of Babylon. See, it has its burden too, along with Damascus, along with Lebanon. Okay. That you read Isaiah 13 and Jeremiah 50 and 51 about how the Medes are going to come in and they're not going to show no mercy. But along with the Medes, it's going to be other nations. It ain't going to just be the Persians by themselves now. Okay, the Persians would be crazy to try to, attack America by themselves. They don't have a big enough army or enough weaponry to beat the United States by themselves. That's why the Most High sends, other nations with them that you read about in Jeremiah chapter 50 and 51. See right here, it talks about those Persians right there, right? Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, okay, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Okay, and their missiles, bows, right? And their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, right? And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, and their eye is not going to spare children. Okay, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? Talking about the U.S., right? The beauty of the Chaldees' excellence, they shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. See, what's happening is God is actually doing it. He's behind it. He's just using these nations as, as his war, his war hammer. Okay, as his weaponry. Okay, but all these prophecies, man, are very important to go look at and to be able to see and to be able to understand why they are going to happen. Now, you can look at it or you don't have to look at it. It's up to the person, but it's up to us to bring it out and bring it to your attention. Okay? You notice I ain't said nothing about no rapture. You notice I ain't said nothing about, Jesus is coming back. No, all these things are going to occur, man. And some of them are going to occur when we get back to Israel, man. There's still some more things to go, all right? Dealing with the Temple Mount and all that stuff, man. There's still a few more things I'm not mentioning on here. But these are the major things that are going to happen, okay, in the future, okay? And naturally, the final battle, Ezekiel 37:38, okay, between God and all the nations that are still left at that time. Because they're gonna come down to Israel. They're going to want to come take some things, you know what I mean? Because they're going to see us down there being blessed. And they're going to say, man, we're going to go down there and take us some stuff. So that's what's going to happen in the final battle in Ezekiel chapter 37:38. Has nothing to do with the Edomites in the land. Has nothing to do with that. Because I read some of their websites, and man, they tell a lot of lies, man. They tell a lot of lies, man. On the websites, man, they ain't got nothing to do with them. Okay? The only thing they need to worry about is that second one right there. Jeremiah 49, Isaiah 63, and Obadiah 1 and 18, or really the whole chapter of Obadiah, talking about them and their judgment. It's the only thing they need to worry about. The final battle is, that's when we get back to the land. Okay? All right? So there's a lot going to happen in the future, man. It's best if you guys would go study these matters, man. Okay? There ain't nobody going to come back and save the day from these things happening, or they wouldn't even be written in this book, man. Okay? It wouldn't be written in this book. All right, now I'm over here in Jeremiah 51. I read a lot of times to you guys. I'll read just a little bit of it. Okay? Starting at verse 10. Okay? Let's start at verse 8. Okay? Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Okay? How for her? Take balm for her, right? For her pain. If so be, she may be healed. This is what they're saying. That's Donald Trump, you know. If so be, she may be healed, right? We have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. See, that's make America great again right there. We have healed Babylon, but the Most High says, no, but she is not healed. Okay? And let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. In other words, her judgment, is soon to come. That's what it's saying. So, the Most High is giving people a chance to exit when it talks about let us go everyone into his own country. Okay? You give it a chance to exit before he comes with what's called the day of Yhwh. Now, you see right here, it says, flee from Babylon at the very top. And that's not talking just to Israel, man. Okay? Ain't talking just to black America. It's talking to everybody who, can hear these words, man, that these prophets of old are talking about. Okay? All right, but yeah, that's make America great again. That's Donald Trump. We would have healed Babylon, see? But the Most High said what? He said, man, but she's not going to be healed. He said, Most High said, look, man, forsake her. Forsake America. I mean, give up your citizenship. He said, forsake her. Okay? He's talking to you whites, blacks, whoever, Mexicans, Indians, whatever, man. Asians, somebody. He said, forsake her. Forsake Babylon and go back to your own country. Because her judgment, it reaches up to heaven. All the sins going on over here. Okay? Making the children learn about LGBT groups and little children learn about, different sexual matters they shouldn't be learning about as kids. And I'm just talking about the little things that happen, little things that's going on that should not be going on. Along with all the rest of the sins that happen inside the door of Babylon, right? Okay? Verse 10. For Yah have brought forth our righteousness. Talking about the Yah righteous movement, right? Okay? The Jerusalem movement. Yah have brought forth our righteousness. He says, come, let us declare. What we gonna do? We're gonna declare in Zion the work of our God. When we get back there, we're gonna declare that. Okay? Then it goes on to tell you what's gonna go down. Make bright the arrows, talking about the nuclear missiles, right? The ICBMs, right? Intercontinental ballistic missiles, the Dolphin-class submarines, and on and on and on, right? He says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yah have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. The kings of the Medes is Iran, okay? For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of God himself, Yah, the vengeance of his temple. Okay, I'm not going to read any further. Okay, but I will read 12. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. He says, set up the watchmen. He says, prepare ambushes for America. So he got ambushes prepared. Okay, for Yah have both devised and done which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So the Most High said he's going to do it. See, this is coming from Yah. It's not coming from these other nations. He's using the nations as his war hammer. Okay? But it ain't coming from the other nations. It's coming from Yah. Okay? He's going to bring these Iranians against America. Okay? Why? Look at the trade embargoes and all the things they've done to Iranians, trying to cripple them economically. Okay? Same as they done in Lebanon. Right? All right, but the Most High said he gonna make bright those arrows, the missiles they coming. Okay, but it ain't gonna be by themselves. Okay, it don't matter about your underground bunkers and all that stuff, man. What the Most High say, man, this place ain't no more gonna be inhabited, man. And what did he say? He said it ain't no more gonna be inhabited forever. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Now check this out. Okay, as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and its neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord. Okay, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. And there's a lot to this Jeremiah 50 and 51. A lot to read. You know what I mean? It's hard to read because you hear about what the Most High is going to do, man. It's nothing to be playing around about. Okay, all right. All right, now let's read verse number 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, U.S., right? An assembly of great nations. So it ain't going to be just the Medes, but the Medes might be the main character, character in the war theater, okay? He said an assembly of great nations from the north country, right? And they shall set themselves in array against her. So they're going to surround Babylon, right, on those coastlines, okay? From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. Now, arrows talking about, obviously, nuclear missiles, okay? These things are going to happen, whether you people can dig it or not. So it doesn't matter about what you think, what you believe, or what you feel is going to happen. No one's going to come. This doesn't say there's an escape, man. Okay, it says it's going to happen. It don't say Jesus is coming back. It says it's going to happen. Okay? It doesn't say these things. It says it's going to happen. Because if that was the case, it would have said it in this book right here in remembrance that they call the Old Testament. If that was really going to happen. Okay? You'd be able to find it in both spots. It never says anything of such a matter in here. Plus, it's folklore anyway. You can't come back flying. Ain't no horse can fly. Like when they say in Islam that, that Muhammad took off on a horse. How? Horses don't have wings. You have to just believe those things. Okay? Right here in 23. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Okay? That means the war is going to take place on America's turf in their backyard. It ain't going to be America taking the war to other places like it normally is, right? It's going to be them coming to America for the first time in history. Okay? Other than the wars we had within the United States, way back to the Revolutionary War, the North and the South and all that. Okay? A sound of battle is going to be in the land of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? It says, how has Babylon become a desolation of the nations, right? Okay? Simple as that. But the Most High said, look, man, I laid a trap for you, Babylon. and thou art taken, O Babylon, and you were not aware right of this trap, but you are found and also caught, because you have striven against the Lord. Well, how has she striven against the Lord? Because look what she done to his servants, man. Okay, people like me and other people who try to serve the Most High too. Okay, and all the things that go on in Babylon, all these sexual sins that people shouldn't be doing. Men dressing like women, women dressing like men, and saying it's okay. You know what I mean? Saying it's okay before the Creator. It's okay before God. God has not done these things. Okay? And so on and so forth. All right? God's not done these things, man. But the Most High said He's laid a trap for him. And one day it's going to happen, man. One day. Okay? And no different than Damascus, what the Most High say. And her young men going to fall in the streets. And all her men of war. So it's talking about you Army boys, you Air Force boys, you Navy boys, and whoever else. You Marines, you Navy SEALs. What the Most High say, man, you're going to fall, man. Them men of war, they're going to get cut off in that day. Okay? By these other nations. Because it's going to be too much for the daughter of Babylon to handle. Okay? The Most High said, behold, I'm against thee. He's against the daughter of Babylon. O thou most proud, because what? The proudest people are here in America. Nothing gonna happen here. We got the army. They gonna protect us. Not in this day. It's not gonna happen. It tells you right here that the men of war gonna get cut off in that day. Okay, by what? Man, nuclear missiles, man. And the Russians have missiles, hypersonic missiles that can get here in 30 minutes. So when this war jumps off and it happens, in 30 minutes, it's over with for you. It's over with for daughter Babylon. But they're gonna surround Babylon. Okay, all these nations. See, they're going to surround Babylon, a great assembly of nations. You heads of state, y'all should be, you should be nervous. You should be shaking right now. It's going to happen, man. Well, y'all trying to sign up to be the president? I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be. Because more than likely, whoever the next president is, this is going to happen during your tenure. This ain't no 20 years away. This is very close, man. Look what the United States have done over in the South China Sea. Okay? Basically trying to get the Chinese to respond. But it ain't going to be just the Chinese. The Most High says it's going to be a great assembly of nations. And their missiles are going to be like mighty expert men when they shoot their missiles off. Okay? So these are the prophecies, man, coming up in the future. This one being the worst one of all. Like I said, we do not relish in it, in any of it, but it must happen. This is what the great prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah have predicted to happen in this earth. And lastly, the final battle. Okay? All right. Thank you all for listening. Go do your research, man. Peace. Y'all bless.